Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Noreen Burke, owner of Call Clutter Fairy Home Organizing, and this is my YouTube channel, The Crafty Organizer. It's pouring rain out today, so my hair is taking on a life of its own, which always makes me revert back to the 80s. Anyway, today I am doing another craft video. Since we are kind of homebound right now, my home organizing projects are going to be a little bit limited for a little while. Sadly, I guess this is a good thing, but sadly my home is pretty well organized. So other than my garage storage area behind me, which I desperately need to do, I'll need to wait for some better weather. So today I wanted to do another spring project, and this one cracks me up because it was a big impact for $1. You ready? We're going to make this big, lovely spring blossom using a tree branch that we found outside and some napkins from the Dollar Tree. You ready? The supply list for this is short. A package of napkins from the dollar store, scissors, a branch from outside, and this garland from the dollar store. You can also get this at Hobby Lobby. And of course your trusty glue gun. Now, the napkins you choose can be in any color you want. I really wanted the pink cherry blossom look, so I got this soft pink. So you're going to take the corner and just gently rub it back and forth. And what you're basically doing is separating the two plies. And we're going to separate this. And this mimics the same weight as tissue paper. Now, if you already have tissue paper lying around, absolutely use what you've got, but I didn't have any pink tissue paper, and instead of buying a giant pack, these napkins work great because I can use them obviously for eating, but I used to use this when I had a gift basket business called the Basket Case. So here's a little bonus tip. If you pinch the center of these and wave them, it becomes one of those really nice fillers for baskets, gift bags. So this was something I used to do with my gift basket business. But for today, we're just going to lay these out, get them as flat as possible, and we're just going to cut these into little squares. Now, since they already have a crease in them from being folded into fourths, I'm just going to follow that guideline. So cut them in half. And then you can just lay this on top because they are so thin. Cut them in half again. And the beautiful thing with this is it doesn't need to be perfectly symmetrical because nature isn't perfectly symmetrical. So just try and keep them about the same size though. So we're going to go into half and then one last time into half. So you've got these lovely little 2-inch squares. Now, if you can get some assorted size squares, it'll be nice. These little baby ones will be great for buds, and then these bigger squares will be nice for the full size blossoms. So let me show you some of the techniques I use. First of all, I get this boxwood garland and I'm just going to snip off about 3/4 of an inch, and these fly, so make sure you've got your eyes protected or you've got an enclosed area, but trim those off and then pick off some of the individual leaves. This will maybe really make it look like it's blooming. So the first technique is to just crumple up 1 or 2 of the squares, and this just gives it that more realistic look, not so clean. And then you stack 2 of them and you pinch and twist the bottom. And this gives the most realistic blossoming flower. And then we just add a little bit of the boxwood right next to it. Please be careful with the glue gun. I know it looks like I just dug it in by my fingers, but I was really being careful. I have these great tweezers that I used just to squeeze it together so I don't burn myself, but you can use any tool you have. I've seen some of you use those rubber fingers that we used to use as a secretary to go through papers. If you have that, that's wonderful too. And then I can just place it directly on the branch. Now, I want to show you another technique with one of the different sizes. So with this small one, I'm really just going to twist almost in half and then take the bottom half that I've twisted and fold it in half. With this, I'm going to use a smaller piece of the cut off boxwood, and this gives the appearance of a smaller bud that is just about to open into blossom. So I want to have some various stages of the flowers along my branch. We're just going to go ahead and get that glue all around there and then tack it to the branch. Now the way flowers usually bloom is the tips bloom last. So if you place your smaller buds at the tips and have the fully opened blossoms towards the base of your branch, it will have a more realistic look. Here I'm just going to take some of the tiny leaves and just start placing them in so that, again, I've got those little bud leaves that are coming out as well as the flowers. Another technique is to just simply wad these up. If you don't have the patience or the dexterity to twist and fold these in, you can literally just ball these up like a little meatball and it will have the same visual, a little bit more papery, but it really will still have a very similar look to it. So this branch was one that I found out in the park, and I was really excited to find it because it had a good wide but flat base to it. So I was able to, I think they call it an espalier when it goes flat out like that. I had one more little branch that I ended up gluing to the base so that it had 4 prongs to it. But I just made up an assortment of sizes and I set them aside and I had them ready so that once they were all made, I could really get into the groove of just placing these cute little cherry blossoms all over my branches. And the reason I was making this, number one, was something to do, but also I really did want to get some spring branches in, and when I was looking at Hobby Lobby, I didn't find anything that I particularly liked. And the big sprays that I did find were about 25 bucks, and I wanted a couple of these in the house, and I thought, I know I can make this for free or very close to free. So that's what prompted this, and I am pretty happy with the way it turned out. I ended up having enough squares. I cut up 5 napkins total, and so that gave me 10 of these sheer layers of tissue, and I have enough to probably make 30 of these branches. So I would only cut up 1 or 2 napkins at a time. If you happen to need more, go ahead and go more. But yeah, I have tissue for days now. This was a quick project. I think all in all, I went slower because I was trying to make sure I was very clear on the steps to take for the video, but I think I got this done in about 15 minutes. Now I'm just going to go kind of fast forward while I simply attach the buds as I see fit. There's no wrong or right to this. Nature is lovely that way. You can either really pack on the buds and have a very full blooming tree, or you can go sparsely the way I did. But have fun with this. I think I'm going to do a couple of these in the yellows and the whites just to really bring in some spring colors into the house. And since I have extra tissues, why not? Now, something I didn't record at the end, I didn't want this just leaning up against something, so you can either stick this into a little pot with dirt, you could stick it into foam. I had rice lying around, so I filled up a little vase and did that. And then at the very end, when I decided to take pictures for you guys, I got one of the Dollar Tree candlesticks that I've had lying around. I just poured a little bit of glue gun into it and stabbed the stem into it, and it stands up and looks really pretty. So now that I've got it all done, I just wanted to show you what it looks like. Here's a shot outside with the lovely, we had a break with the rain, so I wanted to show you what it looked like against the blue sky. I think it looks pretty realistic, honestly. I'm pretty impressed with it, given it's a dead stick and something that was going to go into a trash bin. This is another vantage point. You can't see the bright pink of it, but that's okay. You can still see what the blossoms look like on it, as well as the few leaves that are poking out. And then this is one more view so that you could see the candlestick and what it looks like on the inside. Do you like the look of spring branches in your house? Leave me a comment below and let me know what color you would use if you were to make one of these. I hope you liked this today. This is so reminiscent of the crafts I used to do when I was a little kid. I was always excited at spring because for some reason my elementary school every year would bring out a piece of paper and a straw, and I knew what we were going to do. And the teacher would come over and drop some ink at the base, and with the straw we would get to blow out what would mimic the branches. And then with tissue paper, we would wad up and make the cherry blossoms just like this. So I was super excited to kind of duplicate something like this. It allows me to bring something that's springish into my home without spending a lot of money. And afterwards, I can either just donate this to somebody else who might want to use it, or I won't feel bad about throwing it away. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully the sun will come out soon and I'll be able to do some organizing projects with you in my garage. But in the meantime, I'll see you soon.